Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5. This is the all-wheel drive XRT. It's finished off in cyber gray, and the MSRP starts just over $55,000. Now this is a full EV from Hyundai, but we'll start up front here because under the hood, instead of having an engine, of course, you have some components, but you also get the storage shelf. So you have some adapters for charging in here at the moment, and then you could use that for a little bit of storage depending on the items that you have. But this is powered by an 84 kilowatt lithium ion battery pack along with dual motors. It's paired to a single speed transmission. It pumps out 320 horsepower, 446 pound-feet of torque. All-wheel drive. It weighs in around 4,700 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. And from what I've found with the range, it varies between 260 and 320 miles. You can also charge this several different ways, and those charging times will vary, of course, depending on how you plan to charge it. And now as we work our way to the exterior styling with this XRT, we have some off-road goodies. You get red tow hooks up front. There's also a forward-facing camera, all the parking sensors, this really neat camo design within the entire front bumper. There's also active grille shutters which will open up, and then a nice dark housing for the LEDs up front. So it matches nicely with that upper trim accent. And then there's a few lines that come down the hood. Now this model also has a lift kit. It's a 23 millimeter lift with these off-road focused all-terrain tires. You get a really neat set of wheels and more of that camo design for the fender flares. Now there's also power folding side mirrors with a camera and a turn signal. You get more gloss black for the roof racks and the window trim there, and then some really neat angles and lines that run down the side. Now this also gets a gloss black spoiler with a third brake light. Wiper blade is in the lower section, LED bar that runs right through that power lift gate, and then it has a backup camera and all of the parking sensors. And then you do have a control up underneath to open up that power lift gate, where you have a good bit of space. Now you do get a little bit of storage underneath the floor, not much, but the charging cable is tucked away in the back there, so you at least have that space. And then you can also fold down the back seats too, if you need a little bit more space. So it's pretty usable for the size of this vehicle. Now this also has remote start, so if we lock it and hold on this button, we can activate that, where this also features Hyundai's Smart Park Assistance. So you can use the buttons on the side of the key fob and actually move this vehicle forwards or backwards. So let's say you're in a tight parking spot, you can't open either of your doors, you can just use these buttons here, and as soon as you let off, it will stop moving. Really a cool party trick, but if you need to use it, you will have that if and when that is necessary. So from there we can shut it off, we can unlock it where the door handles will pop out, and then we have a pretty nice interior with XRT, huge grab handle for the entire middle section. You get heated seats too, and then there's storage in the lower section. Now you have the control on the side that you can use to fold these seats flat, so you can get a lot of interior space, and then you can go all the way up or fully recline the seat. So you have a lot of options. These seats also move forwards and backwards, so there's a bar underneath so you can move them accordingly. Now you get storage pockets, you have auxiliaries and storage, and then I have about 2 inches or so of headroom at 5'10". So it's pretty spacious, and the fact that you can recline these seats makes it more comfortable. Now you do have a 60-40 split, so you only have the armrest in the middle section there. And then up front, you have your mirror controls, window adjustments, and then more storage and the same design there. There's also automatic front seats with XRT in the headrest there. Now as we start this up, this has a leather steering wheel. The paddle shifters on both sides are for the regen braking. So you'll notice we're on level 1 right now. There's 4 that you can choose from. You have mode, tuning, voice commands, volume. There's also a favorites button. And then all the cruise control settings are on this left side, along with being able to go through the digital gauge cluster. So you have a little bit of information that you can scroll through and monitor, just depending on what you would like to see. Everything else is going to be fixed. You do have a few different on-road driving modes, so you can go through these as needed. And then you also get a few off-roading, so the terrain mode there, where there's snow, mud, and sand. So if you plan to take this off the pavement, you have a few to choose from. Now on the left side, there's the e-brake. You have auto hold, dimmer switch for the gauges. There's traction control, the lift gate, and the charging port. You have one air vent. And then with the infotainment system, it's fairly simple. but you have quite a lot of icons that you can go through, which is nice. There's also some physical buttons too, so you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system. You can use basically all of these shortcuts, even set up your favorites there to go through it all. You have volume and tuning, and then a secondary screen for the climates. Fan speed, temperature, where you'd like the air to go, recirc, all of that. There's also more storage with auxiliaries. You get a lot of storage here between your driver and passenger. Usually that is blocked off, so you could have items down there if you needed. Now there's also cup holders. You can place your phone in the middle, and this left side has a dual purpose. You can charge your phone, or you can use the NFC technology where you can have a credit card that activates the vehicle. So it's in place of the key fob. If you want to use that, you can start, lock, and unlock the vehicle. Now there's also heated seats, heated steering wheel, shortcut to the camera system, and parking sensors. Now the stalk on this right side is how you activate drive and reverse, so you can pull up that camera system, where you have the backup camera. There's also the 360 view and the top-down view, and then when you put it into drive, you get the forward-facing camera, and then park's located on the end of the stalk. Now you do get a little bit of storage in the armrest, and you can move this out of the way where you have more storage and some auxiliaries. And then there's also storage in the glove box. You get garage door buttons up top and the dome lights too. And then here's a look at visibility over both shoulders. Even with that pillar, it is still pretty easy to see in both directions. And in sport mode, here we go. Full power, and we're up to speed. Definitely fun to do in a vehicle like this where you don't hear anything, you are just up and moving. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the Ioniq 5. And we'll talk about these paddle shifters now. I have it in LV1, which is the lowest setting. Actually, there is 0, so it's completely off. When you let your foot off of the accelerator, you are just going to cruise like you would in a gas vehicle. But as soon as I start going all the way up to 4, or the iPedal Max, I'm not even touching the brake right now, and we're coming almost to a stop. So with the iPedal Max, it's basically one pedal driving. So if you time it right, as we come up to this turn, and where you can also see the camera system, I'm not even going to touch the brake pedal. So you can time it accordingly, which is nice. I would still, obviously monitor needing to brake, but the vehicle will come to a complete stop, which is nice. That's also going to help with regenerative braking to give you some more charge in the battery. So if you're in stop and go traffic, on, off, that is going to be a little beneficial. It's not significant, but it's nice to be able to see. And like I said, it's so smooth and comfortable to drive. It really is a nice vehicle to drive. We do have some plastics here and there that you can see overall, but for an EV, for the price point too, especially with this being fairly new, EVs have been out for a while, but the technology is improving, the range is getting longer, and the price point for this model is pretty respectable for everything that you were getting. Hyundai really does a good job at packaging their vehicles well for a somewhat affordable price. It's still a $55,000 vehicle, maybe close to $60,000, but for what you were getting for the package, I think it's really nice. So if you are into an EV vehicle, it's definitely a great package. And of course you have other trim levels too. You don't have to go with this model here, so you can get ones that are significantly less. But it's a nice vehicle overall. Unique exterior design, but the interior has a great feel to it. And that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.